Hey, this is Scott, and today we're going to be taking a look at the buttons and the menu on the Godox AD400 Pro. So obviously one of the most important buttons on here will be your power button, and they did this a little bit differently than they have in the past. In the past, you held down the power button for a few seconds and it would turn on, but now just a single push, you'll see the screen pops up with this unlock message that you have to turn the wheel to unlock it, and if you don't, it will turn off again. It's kind of a safety measure so you don't accidentally turn it on while it's in your bag or something like that. Honestly, I think it's a little bit faster and easier. Just push, turn, and you're good to go. To turn it off, all you have to do is just push it once more. So going over the buttons quickly, we'll start from the bottom right, which is the test flash button. And of course, if you push this, it will test flash. And this button will light up red when it is ready to flash. I have it on 1/8 power now, so the recycle time is pretty much non-existent. But if I go up to, let's say, full power, you can see that when I push this, it takes a second and then it lights up red when it is ready to go again. So that's kind of a visual indicator of when your flash is recycled if you have the beep turned off, which I currently do. Next to that, we have the power button, which we talked about. And then after that, we have the modeling light button here. If you push that once, it will come on with a percentage. And if you want to adjust that percentage, you just hold this down for a couple seconds. And when it's highlighted, you can adjust the percentage with this wheel here, all the way down to 10%. And of course, up to 100%. After 20%, the fan will kick in. You can probably hear that on the video. Of course, even at 20% or lower, once this gets hot, the fan will kick in as well. But right off the bat, up to 20%, the fan will not automatically kick in. From 21% and higher, it will. So just keep that in mind. But you can adjust the percentage there. If you want to hop back out to this control, the main control, just press set, and it will jump back out into your main flash power control, as you can see here. Pushing this once more will jump into your proportional control, which will change the brightness of the modeling light together with the brightness of your flash output here. So I'm not sure, you probably can't see that in the video, but as I change the power of the flash, the power of the modeling light is also changing. And this is really useful for when you want to visualize before taking the shot, maybe your lighting ratio between your key and your fill light, or your key and your background light. This proportional setting will allow you to visualize that with the modeling light, which, to be honest, is kind of the purpose of the modeling light, the main purpose of a modeling light. Of course, it can help you to get your focus if you're in a darker situation, but being able to have this proportional setting is really, really nice. It's a great upgrade from the original AD600. I love having that here. And then to turn this off, just press it once more and it will turn off. Above that, we have the high-speed sync button, which pushing it will just turn off and on the high-speed sync. And you can see that when you turn that on, the flash duration, which is displayed down here, is no longer visible because obviously high-speed sync, that won't really apply in the same way. And above that, we have the menu button. We'll go back into the menu in just a moment, so we're going to skip over that for now and go up to the mode button. This is a TTL light, so you can have the multi-mode, the TTL mode, or the manual mode, and that will cycle through just by pushing this mode button, of course. Next to that, you have the wireless button, which will turn on and off the wireless control. So if you want to control this with like an X Pro or an X1, you can use this wireless control here, and you can see the channel and the group listed here. But if you want to turn that off, perhaps if you're using it together with a wired flash trigger, then you can just turn that off here. And that's all that is. Next to that, you do have the group and channel button. Pushing this once will change your group. And let's get back to A, and then holding it down for a few seconds will jump into your channel settings. It's highlighted here, and you can adjust that with the wheel. So now jumping into the menu, just pushing that, of course, we'll jump into the menu. Your first choice is the color mode, and this is just a simple on or off. Pushing this set button will allow you to jump into that submenu and cycle between on and off. And when you push on, you can see on the main screen here, it will let you know that you're in color mode. This does not work, or does not matter when you're in TTL mode, so that's not here, but as soon as you switch back over to multi-mode, it stays in that color mode, which is cool, so you can turn that on and off here. The next option we have is your slave mode. So this is an optical slave mode. S1 and S2 are optical slave modes that you see in a lot of Godox lights. You can choose that here. So next up is model, and you have two options here. The first one is continuous, and this will just keep the modeling light on continuously. And the other option is inter, which will turn the light off when it's flashing and then turn it back on. So it will only be on in between your flashes. If you find that the modeling light is interfering with your exposure or your color at all, this could be where you could make sure to turn that off when the flash is flashing so it doesn't interfere. This is nice because it wasn't available on the original AD600. Under that we have the standby settings, and you can go into here and dial in how long you want this to stay on before it automatically powers off. I have it set at 60 minutes now. You have a few choices: 90 minutes, 120 minutes off, which will mean that this just doesn't turn off automatically, 30 minutes, and back to 60 minutes. After that, you have light, and this is the light of the screen here, which I have now to be continuously on, so it doesn't matter how long I let this sit, this backlight on the screen will stay on. If I turn it off, you can see what happens, and 15 seconds will obviously turn off after 15 seconds of not messing with any of these settings. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to put it to on just that way this stays on and you can see what I'm doing. After that, you have delay, and this is kind of like a second curtain sync. You can dial in the milliseconds kind of how much delay you want on this. So you know, if you have a longer exposure and you want a rear curtain sync, you can dial this in very accurately of when you want the flash to flash in relation to when you push the shutter on your camera. So I'm going to go back and turn this off for now, which is just the normal, as soon as you push the shutter, the flash will flash. These next two settings of units and alt are kind of used together to set up if you have multiple units of this light and you want to use them together, whereas you flash one and the next to flash is the next one and the next to flash is the next one, and they kind of cycle through like that, which could be useful if you're using this on, you know, full power, for example, and you want a faster flash. The recycle time of this can't keep up with that. You can use 2 or 3 of these units together, or even 4 or something, to kind of achieve that same effect. And you can set this up here to let you know how many units you have and kind of what position in that series this unit is. So they will fire off in succession, and you can kind of get a faster flash even with the full power if you have multiple of these units. This is how you would set it up for them to work together. After that, we have the LCD, and this is the LCD contrast, I believe, and you can maybe see on screen here as I adjust it how it kind of makes a difference. After that, we have the ID, which now I have set to off, but you can go into here and set your ID if you need to. I've never had any need to mess with that. After that is the beep, and this is just whether it will beep for you when it's recycled. I turn it off because it's kind of annoying, to be honest with you. Go back and reset that. And then finally you have reset, which will just reset all of the settings on here. If you kind of mess things up and you don't remember how it was before, you can just go in here and reset all of that and start from 0, and it will cycle around to the first option, which was our color option. To get out of the menu, just press the menu button again and you're back to the main screen. Otherwise, on the display here, I've kind of lightly mentioned you have the flash duration here, which you can see as I adjust the power output of this light, which again, if you noticed, goes in 1/10 increments, which is very, very accurate adjustments, which could be useful. If you use the X Pro, you can adjust it in 1/3 increments as usual, but using this wheel on the light will go in 1/10 increments, which is, I don't know, maybe a pro, maybe a negative, but again, a lot of people are going to be using this together with the X Pro, and you'll have the 1/3 adjustments from there. But you can see down here the T.1 flash duration is displayed on screen, and that will change as you adjust the power of the flash. Up here on the top you have the battery life, and this will pretty much pretty accurately represent the gauge that you have on the battery itself. So you can see that on screen, or you can press the button to see that on the battery itself as well. And that's pretty much it. I think that I've gone over all of the things that are on screen and everything that you can do within the menu. Again, depending on, you know, certain setups that you have, you may want to mess with some of those settings in the menu a little bit differently than I have them set up here. But hopefully this gives you some idea of what there is and how this menu works. It's very simple, very easy to figure out. Some of the more complicated things you might have to double check the manual, but generally this is a very, very good and simple menu system. I really, really like it, and it looks very nice. It's very easy to see, very easy to navigate visually. But if you do have any questions of things that I didn't cover here, or something that I may not have explained quite clearly enough, just let me know down below in the comments and I will definitely get back to you. If you liked this video or you found it helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to see more in the future, and as always, thank you for watching.